What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Uprise Postgame show. Just gotta give a quick shout out to Reggie Coos, who made that beat for you guys. Thought it'd be cool to get some cool intro music. I like to have the cover up for a little bit before we go live, and now we got some fan-made music. Reggie Coos is a very, very well-known YouTuber, has like 1.2 million subscribers, and he's a fan of mine. So, I'm honored to be able to get some music made by him. He makes beats, he does songs, so go check him out. Just search Reggie Coos and you'll find him. But he made that beat. I really like that beat. Just had to slap that on there. But this was a great win for the Portland Trail Blazers. I really like the way we played in this game. Let me straighten out my camera. Let me know if the sync is good to go. Let me know if the sync is good to go or not. I'm just going to get set up here. We'll probably bring Eric on in a little bit. And we'll talk about this really good win for the Portland Trail Blazers, because this was definitely a really good win in my opinion. I really like the way the Blazers attacked the rim in this game. We attacked the rim probably better in this game than we have all season long. And in games where we've struggled to hit outside shots, we've tended to settle for these outside shots, okay? And I've talked about we need to do a better job just trying to get to the rim. Tonight, we were hitting jump shots, but we weren't settling for them. We were getting really good jump shots, and part of the reason we were getting really good jump shots was because we were attacking the interior relentlessly. You had CJ McCollum going downhill on multiple possessions, getting to the rim, not settling for mid-range shots, not settling for threes. He shot some, but he had a good balance of shot selection. He attacked the rim, got an and one, had some very good finishes, and in the past few games, I think CJ has done a lot better job of attacking the rim, getting to the rim, and getting finishes inside, man. He's been doing a really good job going downhill. Dame didn't really get to the rim tonight, which was kind of interesting because normally he's the one guy who does get to the rim, but he went off from three. I believe he had 7 threes. I can double check the stats, but Dame shot great from the perimeter, and he had a very good game. Meanwhile, you had other guys attacking instead of Dame, and you had Bazemore attacking the rim, multiple possessions. Whiteside going strong like he normally does. Anthony was getting to his mid-range shot. This was just a very solid game overall. I thought it was a well-played game by the Portland Trail Blazers. I thought the Magic didn't play up to par. That team did not look good, especially late in that first quarter. There was, I don't know, man. That first quarter by the Magic was probably the worst played quarter that a team has played against the Portland Trail Blazers. The Portland Trail Blazers did some good things. That's why they got out to a 20-point lead. But the Magic, man, super stagnant offense. Steve Clifford is a very questionable coach in my opinion. That team just did not gel together whatsoever that entire game. We'll bring in. I'm gonna call Eric. I'm going to bring in Eric here. I'm going to put back up that cover. And we're going to bring in Eric Brandt, assuming he's ready to go. Read newcomer. Torrey thinking poorly of a coach. Shocker. I'm not going to have anything bad to say about Stotts tonight. If we played this style of basketball more often, then I would not complain about Terry Stotts. This is the type of basketball that we can play. We boxed out, which had been a problem, but we boxed out. Injuries weren't stopping us from boxing out. Maybe the players just started deciding to do it. Maybe the coaching staff made it a point of emphasis. But we started boxing out, which was good. Even on plays where we gave up offensive rebounds, I thought we boxed out pretty well. You had Scal who gave up I'm echoing in Eric's. What's up, Eric? Let me know when you got me. All right, dope. I just had to stop talking because I was hearing myself through Eric's.
Gotta listen to the show.
Oh, for sure. I just always forget. I just hear my voice like 5 seconds delayed, and it trips me out. I can't even focus on what I was saying. Anyway, welcome to the stream.
Hello,
This was a
guys.
very good win tonight. I really like the way they attacked the rim tonight, Eric. I want to hear your thoughts on that.
I completely agree. I just heard you say though that there's nothing you're gonna criticize Stotts about tonight. I will say that in a game where we had control of it most of the game and with a big double-digit lead, it's a little concerning that Dave and CJ had to play 36 and 37 minutes. But
Okay, that's the only complaint.
that's
You're
my
right. You're
only
right.
complaint about the coaching tonight.
Yeah, I wish he subbed him out a little bit earlier. Wish he subbed him out around 4 minutes left. I think we would have been fine. This Orlando team was not clicking. Maybe 4 minutes left was a little bit early. He kind of waited till what, under 2 minutes? I don't know.
I think it was like a minute
Definitely,
something, yeah.
yeah, definitely could have mixed them in here or there. Orlando just kept it close enough where they couldn't sub in their bench with 4 or 5 minutes left to go. So yeah, it does suck that they played that much, especially since they play again tomorrow night. I was hoping they could get some rest, especially when we started off up 20 points in the first quarter. I was hoping that we could really extend that lead and play everybody under 30 minutes, but that was not the case. But overall, I really enjoyed the pace we played at and the way we attacked the rim. I thought the pace we played at was really, really solid. We ended up having some mistakes out of it. We're not really used to playing at a fast pace, but I think we really put the pressure on Orlando by just pushing the pace, pushing in transition more than we normally do, and attacking the rim more than we normally do. And you could tell that Orlando was struggling with that. You could tell that they were uncomfortable with our aggressiveness in transition and pushing the ball downhill.
Yeah, the only thing, so we scored 118 points with 20 turnovers. That's pretty good, right? Uh,
Yeah.
means we must have done something else really good, like 3-pointers, 17 of 36. You're gonna win a lot of games if you hit 17 threes on almost 50% shooting, and we
Well, I
shot
feel like, yeah,
50% overall.
I feel like that 3-point shooting was I feel like we got really, really good shots, partly because we ended up getting good 3-pointers in transition, but then also we were collapsing the defense more than I think we have in any game so far this season. We were getting downhill, getting into the paint, and drawing multiple defenders, and then those kick-out passes, we made some good kick-out passes. I thought there were some very impressive passes. There was a pass that Anthony had cross-court to Dame. I think it was near the end of the first half. That was a very good pass. I just like the way we played offensively. We had a couple good sets that I saw that I haven't really recognized from the past. I just thought this was a well-played game.
Yeah, I completely agree. The only thing that bugged me from an offensive standpoint was against a front court like that where they have Gordon, Isaac, and Vucevic. They have length. You don't want to throw those like lazy cross court passes, and that contributed to a lot of the 20 turnovers. And those are all like live ball turnovers too. So if we just cut down to that, like I said, it's hard to complain. We scored 118 points, but the passes got a little sloppy there, especially in the first half. But other than that, yeah, it was good basketball to watch. I guess if you take out the second unit in the beginning of the second quarter, for some reason they cannot score at all right now, even with CJ in that lineup. So that's a little concerning as well. We'll get to this later, but I don't know how much longer we can go with our bench the way it is. And then hopefully Melo's okay, because if he's out too, that makes it even worse. But I heard it was just a knee contusion, so hopefully he'll be okay.
Yep, hopefully. One thing I do want to double check is you got your good mic connected? Just double check that for me, because I know I kind of called you on the spot. But then, yeah, Melo's injury has me a bit concerned, man, because we need his scoring. And he started off good tonight on both sides of the ball. That's what sucked with him getting knocked out of the game early. Defensively, he made some plays. He made like 3 good plays early on in this game. He had a strip of Aaron Gordon. He had, I think a block. I don't really remember. I just remember that he had 3 plays that stood out to me. Like, wow, Carmelo's playing good defense, and he hit a couple shots, hit a 3. So hopefully it's nothing too serious. I assume that he's not going to play tomorrow night, which is definitely a loss going up against the Timberwolves. But that's a team that, with or without Carmelo, I think we should be able to take care of. I think that Melo says Melo has 3 blocks. Let me look at the box score and double check that. But that wouldn't surprise me. And how many minutes did he play? Melo played
9 minutes, I think.
Okay, in 9 minutes, Melo had 3 blocks. In 9 minutes, that's legit. He had 5.6 rebounds. He only shot 1 for 6. I think like 3 of those came off that play where he was trying to follow his own shot, tipping the ball up around the rim, and the fact that he was able to get off like 3-4 putback opportunities, while that does crater his field goal percentage, like those missed shots aren't a bad thing. Those missed shots are a good thing. He's hustling, trying to get a putback. He's missing them, but he's getting extra chances. Because it says he has 3 offensive rebounds. I think those 3 offensive rebounds came off that one play.
He had the one. So 2 were on that play, and 1 was he almost had that monster followed dunk.
Oh, dude, that would have lit that stadium up.
Yeah.
I wish he threw that down. But looking at this team, man, only 2 guys really stood out, unless you want to talk about Hassan Whiteside having 17 rebounds and 5 blocks. But I'll get to that last because I'll segue into this Twitter debate that I had with a Hornets fan trying to tell me that Cody Zeller was a better player than Hassan Whiteside, which was ridiculous.
Yeah, no.
But I'll get into that. Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum combined for 67 points tonight. They also had 10 assists between them, 11 rebounds between them. They both shot over 50%. Damian Lillard was 13 for 21 from the field, 7 for 13 from three-point land, 3 for 3 from the free throw line for his 36 points to go along with the 6 assists. That's a super efficient night from Dame. And then CJ was 12 for 20, 4 for 8 from the three-point line, 3 for 3 from the free throw line to go along with his 31 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. So that's super efficient basketball. The Blazers are a really tough team to beat when Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum shoot like that. It doesn't matter who's next to Dame and CJ. It's tough to beat this team when those 2 guys are putting up points like that, because in order to slow that down, man, you have to sell out on them. That's what Orlando did at halftime. They adjusted. They started selling out on Dame and CJ a lot more, and it helped other guys get easier shots, get opportunities, get space to make things happen. The thing is, I thought Dame and CJ shots all night, they got terrific looks. Like they had the best, for both of them shooting 20 shots. It was probably the best shot selection they've had. Part of that was Orlando's defense being bad. Part of that was the way we played overall. And then part of that was them not settling for bad shots. So, that helped them get going, and that really controlled this game for the Blazers.
For sure, yeah. It's I wish it happened more often, but it's so nice when Dave and CJ are both on at the same time. It would make things so much easier if they were both shooting well at the same time, especially heading into the playoffs. But it seems like they have to take turns. One has to have a good night, one has to have a bad night. So nights when they are both good, it really helps us.
Yep. Russell first round exit Westbrook says, I hope Layman drops 50 on us tomorrow. Yeah, with Hazonia dropping 0. That would be interesting. But yeah, man, I mean, it's just good to see them hot at the same time, because I feel like both of them have had solid years. But I don't think there's been a game where I can say that CJ and Dame got hot at the same time. Mm-hmm. They had that stretch where Dame hit a 3, CJ hit a 3, Dame hit a 3. I love those stretches. I love when Dame and CJ start cooking together.
Yep.
You even had Simons and Trent, the young versions of Dame and CJ. You even had them get cooking together a little bit to start the fourth quarter, I believe it was. Gary Trent Jr. hit a couple of threes, which was good to see, and Simons hit a couple mid-range jump shots. So even those 2 combined together to get hot a little bit at the same time. So it's just fun to see players like that play off each other and knock down shots. And that's what I love about Blazer basketball. That's what I love about our backcourt is when those 2 guys get hot, they're electric. They're very fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. And if Melo's out tomorrow, we're going to need all that tomorrow night too.
But, I mean, Karl Anthony Towns is did not play tonight. The Timberwolves played tonight, so they'll also be on a second night of a back-to-back.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't realize is we're on a back-to-back, but we have the advantage in that regard because the Timberwolves are on the road in Denver, right? Am I right on that?
Yep. They're saying on the broadcast that they were going to get in until probably 1:30 tonight.
Mm-hmm. They were on the road in Denver. That game was close enough that I think the starters probably ended up playing their normal allotment of minutes, and then they got to fly into Portland and play here. So although it's a back-to-back, it's a home and home for us. So we should be ready to go. We should have the advantage in terms of our scheduling. Karl Anthony Towns out of the lineup. That guy has been terrific this year. If he's out of the lineup, that'll be huge for us because he presents a lot of matchup problems for pretty much any center in the league, but especially a guy like Hassan Whiteside. We need Hassan Whiteside to play around the rim due to how leaky our perimeter defense can be. And a guy like Karl Anthony Towns is a 40% plus three-point shooter. I think he's shooting like 42, 43%. So he's able to bring Whiteside out, and that creates a lot of driving lanes for the Minnesota Timberwolves for guys like Wiggins to attack the rim. Wiggins has been a lot better. So in terms of, Melo's probably going to be out tomorrow, but hopefully Karl Anthony Towns is out as well because if that's the case, then this is definitely another game we should win. But back to tonight, 2-0 on this homestand is good. We're halfway to a 4-0 homestand. It's nice to be 13-16. It's nice to be only 3 games below 500, man. After starting off 5-12 to be 13-16, it still kind of sucks, but it feels pretty good, and we're back in playoff position.
Yep, 8 spot, only game and a half behind the Thunder. 4.5 back of Utah, but we play them coming up. So if they continue to, actually they won 4 in a row now after struggling for a bit. So
yeah. I mean, Utah's a beatable team though. That's the thing. We can that tonight was promising because we played a good style of basketball. If we won this game by 5-10 points and Orlando played even worse and we didn't play a good style of basketball, I wouldn't be feeling good. But we played a good style of basketball, and that's encouraging because against the Golden State Warriors, I did not think we played a good style of basketball. I thought we played a very, very bad game against the Warriors and still won because it was the Golden State Warriors.
Right.
Tonight, I thought we won, we controlled the game, and we played a really good style of basketball. So I'm hoping that can continue. It always helps when you make shots, but I think it was beyond that. I think it was just getting really, really good shots. I think this was the best game all year in terms of the shots that we got.
Yeah, real quick, AM Production 16 has mentioned this like 10 times in the chat so far. He wants you to acknowledge that you liked his tweets.
I saw it too. Yes, I liked your tweets. I don't even remember what tweets, dude. I'm super active on Twitter, so I don't even remember what tweets.
I think they were trade ideas.
Oh, yeah, I might have liked your tweets. I like a lot of tweets though, so I don't know if you want me to. I don't know what you want me to say. You want me to say that yes, I liked your tweets, or what? Fultz's dunk was hella crazy. Fultz's dunk, dude, that was exciting. I like seeing Markelle Fultz do well just because of how his career has started. I don't think
he hit a 3 against us too.
He hit a 3. He had a couple nice dunks. He had the nice where he jumped and kept the ball low, then brought it up last second to dunk, and then he had that one where he rose up over Tolliver. I like seeing Fultz do that stuff, man. I'm a Husky and a Gonzaga fan. I'm a Gonzaga fan first, but I liked Markelle Fultz in college. I thought he was going to be superstar level player. Then he had that stuff with his shoulder, which sucked to see because it kind of robbed him of what could have easily been a superstar career. Now he's kind of getting back to it. He's slowly starting to figure out his shot, and those dunks, like, he can fly, man. He's super athletic. But I got to talk about this. I can't let this go any longer. Can we please stop with the Aaron Gordon trade suggestions? Can we please stop talking about Aaron Gordon in a Blazer uniform? It's funny because the people that want to trade for Aaron Gordon tend to be the same people that couldn't stand having Al-Farouq Aminu on the team because Aminu wasn't a good enough shooter. Aaron Gordon's a worse shooter than Al-Farouq Aminu. Aaron Gordon isn't... Me and Eric have been saying this all season long.
Yep.
Aaron Gordon is so overrated. Even Dan Marang was sitting there on Twitter saying Aaron Gordon was overrated, man. Like, we all think Aaron Gordon's overrated. I don't understand what people see in that guy, but, dude.
Well, it's the same thing with Terrence Ross. Like, he won a dunk contest, so everyone thinks he's they overrate that. Like, imagine him on the break if he uses athleticism. He's automatically a good defender because he's athletic and stuff, but he's not.
Yeah. Wampit Gaming said, Tori, is it time to trade Whiteside and 3 firsts for Aaron Gordon? JK. Yeah, no. I'm tired of the Aaron Gordon stuff. Like, even driving the lane. I don't know. He doesn't utilize his athleticism as much as he should, in my opinion. He's kind of finesse around the rim. If he has a lane,
he's got no touch.
Yeah, he has no touch, but he's also like doesn't really attack strong unless he has like a long runway to kind of build momentum into a dunk. This dude is just not a good player. I mean, like, he could help us just because of how thin we are at the forward spots, but I guarantee you Orlando's going to ask for far more than what he's worth. He's not. I feel like part of the reason people want to trade for him is like, oh, look at him. He's on a front-loaded contract, so his contract goes down, so that makes it a good contract. But
it's almost $20 million.
Yeah, you look at that guy tonight. Let me read off his stat line. They're paying him almost 20.
11.
He has, let's see here. Yeah, 11 points, 11 rebounds, 4 for 17 shooting from the field, 0 for 2 from 3. $20 million for that. No, thank you. No, thank you. And the thing is, people want to trade CJ for him. For that guy, look at the difference between CJ McCollum and Aaron Gordon tonight. Huge difference. CJ, 31 points, 12 for 20. Aaron Gordon, 11 points, 4 for 17.
So Doge Gaming is saying Ross is a good player. Look at the stats. He was incredibly hot for the first half of last year, but other than that, he's a very streaky shooter. He has had some decent years shooting the 3, but overall is completely inconsistent. And he's another one of those players that's super athletic and should be way better than he is based on his size and length and athletic ability. And I don't like players like that who I'd much rather have a guy like Dame who isn't necessarily super athletic, and CJ is the same way. But they maximize their talent and get every little bit out of things that they can versus a guy who just has to show up and can be okay but never becomes great because he doesn't have a work ethic to become a great player. It is frustrating when you see people like that just waste talent like that.
Yeah. He overachieved last season. You look at Terrence Ross's career stats, and last season was a bit of an aberration, I think. The past couple of seasons before that, he was super, super inefficient. And the thing is, he doesn't provide anything other than scoring. So if it's inefficient, he's providing nothing that's helpful for the team. And this year, he's kind of back to the way he was before last season. Last season was a contract year. Now he got paid. I think he's on a 4-year contract, making like $13 million a year. I don't want that contract.
I'm looking it up right now.
That's not a good. That's a bad contract for what he's giving you.
Yeah,
so.
that's worse than like the Harkless Leonard. Those. Yeah. So he's signed a 4-year. Let's see. Let me do some quick math here. 13, 24. A 4-year, $50 million.
Yeah.
So it averaged 12.5 a year. 1 year is 13.5, and 1 year is only 11.5. But still, 12.5 million a year on average.
No, thank you. Doge Gaming says not many players are capable of scoring 50. I mean, in the right situation, a lot of NBA players could score 50. Andre Miller scored 50. Doesn't mean we should go get Andre Miller and make him our starting point guard over Damian Lillard or anything like that. But yeah, no, I'm not a fan of really their whole entire roster. Evan Fournier seems intriguing, but he really struggled tonight. That's the thing is they need him to get them 20 a game. And tonight he had 16 on 7 for 17 shooting, 1 for 5 from the 3-point line. So like that's not horrible, but they need more from him in order to keep in touch. Vucevic kind of struggled too. He was 9 for 20. 23 points. I thought he was a little bit worse, but like other than those two guys, they don't really have anybody that can score the ball.
Like I said, Isaac not aggressive at all.
Mm-hmm. Isaac could be so good. He's a really good defender, man. And offensively, it's like he has a little bit of a handle. He's super lanky. He's not slow. He's like 6'10", 6'11", or something like that. Like, that's a guy who I look at as just like, that dude could be an all-star if he figured it out. But I feel like he's not going to be because it's like there's something mental with him. It's kind of like looking at like a Myers Leonard type where it's just like, dude, if you had the right mind about you, then you could really be a really, really good player. I feel that way about Jonathan Isaac as well. But yeah, that's just not that good of a team. They've been struggling, and that's the thing. You got to beat these struggling teams. You got to take care of games like this. The Timberwolves game tomorrow is another one of those games. We got to pick up these games. That's what's going to get us back into playoff positioning. That's what's going to get us back to 500. We're looking at if we beat the Timberwolves tomorrow, I think that will basically lock us into a 4-0 road trip because the last game of this road trip is against New Orleans Pelicans, who have been playing horribly. I believe they lost tonight.
It's still going. Oh, yeah, they did end up losing.
They lost by 4 to the Golden State Warriors. So the Pelicans have lost 13 of their they've lost 13 of their last 14 games. I believe they've only won once since they beat us, and that was Carmelo's first game for us. So that's how bad they've been. If we lose to the Pelicans at home, that would be a debacle. I know I shouldn't pencil in a win, but I'm going to pencil in a win there, okay? I'm going to knock on wood just to be safe, but I think this Timberwolves game, we take care of business there. I think that's a 4-0 homestand, and we're looking at being 15-16. With 3 games left in the new year. Being around 500 at the end of the new year was my goal earlier on this season when we were struggling. We were like 5-12. It was like, honestly, if we could just be 500 by the time the new year rolls around, then we'd be in a solid position. So
we got Utah without Conley, most likely.
And they haven't been that hot this year. Like, if we can go in and get a win there, and then we have the Suns at home to end the year, the Lakers at home, like the Jazz and the Suns are winnable games. The Lakers, maybe something happens. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, this game against the Timberwolves, I think is crucial. Falling to 13-17 would be a bit of a blow. If we could just take care of business here, push our winning streak till 4. Just let's not have a letdown now. Let's keep taking care of the teams we're supposed to take care of, which is something we didn't do earlier this season. We lost to New Orleans, we lost to Cleveland, we lost to Golden State. Let's just take care of the games we got to take care of. We got 2 games coming up that we should take care of to get to 15-16. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, eventually we're going to have to start winning games against above 500 teams too. But as long as you take care of business against the sub-500 teams, that puts you in a position, even if you do really bad, to still make the playoffs against better teams. But eventually, if we want to turn the season completely around, we're going to have to start figuring out a way to win some of these games against good teams too.
Yeah.
Dame and CJ playing like they did tonight would help a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it looks like a lot of teams coming up are having injury issues. Like if Karl Anthony Towns doesn't play tomorrow night, Conley out. It's possible we could see the Raptors soon with basically 3 of their starters out.
Yeah, because that's the road trip to start the new year, huh?
Yeah. And I think there was another team in there that's missing guys, but
we got a golden opportunity here, man. We got a golden opportunity.
I feel like we're doing a complete disservice if we don't fix the bench relatively soon, though. I don't think we can wait a month or till the trade deadline. I think we got to go out and do something now, whether that's sign someone off free agent using the disabled player exception we got for Hood, or making a big trade like a 2-for-1 with a Bazemore or something like that. We just need to find some depth and some guys who can not completely blow the game when they come off the bench.
Yeah. Another reason why I think this Timberwolves game is critical tomorrow night is Robert Covington could be a trade target of the Portland Trail Blazers. So it's kind of going off what you're saying, like if we were able to go out and get a Robert Covington around the maybe in January, maybe Nurk's return is on the horizon. Maybe you get Jang and Covington. That would help our bench because then you can move Bazemore back to the bench, and I think he's starting to kind of figure things out, how to play with this team. He had a solid game tonight. So the Timberwolves are 10-16. Knocking them off, putting them down to 10-17, that just makes it even more likely that they end up possibly moving on from Robert Covington. Now, that could be trading Covington into a team like the Rockets, which would suck. I'm just hoping that that's somebody we can go and get.
Yeah, he would. Not only would he help us this year with our wing depth, but he's the type of guy who would help us the next few years through Dame's prime. As a solid wing defender, a guy we can always depend on to guard the best perimeter player on the other team. Then you start mixing Hood back in next year, hopefully, and all of a sudden you have Hood and Covington at the small forward, along with Dame and CJ. Hopefully Simon's a little more developed, and then all our bigs healthy. I mean, that's a scary good team, and I that's my number one trade. My number one trade fascination right now.
Yeah,
is trying to get him now that it's official that he's pretty much available.
I'm still very intrigued with Blake Griffin and Otto Porter. I think like my top tier guys is Blake Griffin, Otto Porter Jr., and Robert Covington. So Eric Gunderson just tweeted this out. He says, Carmelo Anthony says his knee is fine, was getting treatment during the game, and that he expects to play tomorrow against Minnesota. So it's just like a knee contusion. So that's good news for the Blazers. I wonder if the fact that they played tomorrow night is the reason why they held Carmelo Anthony out for the rest of the game. They're just like, okay, let's just get him right for tomorrow night, especially since Portland was up 20 when he ended up going out of the game. So that's probably what happened. It was probably just a precautionary thing. So that's good to hear because don't want to be starting Anthony Tolliver and playing him 32 minutes a game. Even though I don't think Anthony Tolliver was horrible tonight. I think Anthony Tolliver has been okay-ish lately, which is like really, really good for Anthony Tolliver, if that makes sense. He took a charge.
He gets killed on the boards.
He does. He gets killed on the boards, and his closeouts are awful. Like defensively, he struggles. And that's going to be the thing with him. Like I don't expect that to improve. Like if he has to play, then hopefully he can knock down a shot, make a defensive play here or there. He took a charge against Jonathan Isaac tonight on a fast break, which was a really good defensive play. He also made a couple nice passes. Extra pass to Dame, who relocated to the corner. He had a couple nice, quick zip passes into Hassan Whiteside, who had good position inside. Just if he can do stuff like that, don't turn over the ball, like we can kind of live with that. You know what I mean? Like I don't want him on the floor.
Right.
But like if we're hurt and we have to play him, then just as long as he's having games like tonight, like we struggle with him in the game, but he was okay tonight.
So I know Stotts kind of had to do this because Tolliver picked up his fourth foul, but I was really impressed that Stotts put Scal in immediately and went with the bigger lineup, and that kind of helped us build the lead back up and maintain it. But that was nice to see. I was a little worried about Tolliver starting the second half, and then how our rotation was going to be. But I like that he went to Scal with that first unit when Tolliver picked up his fourth foul.
I'm really liking this Scal Whiteside front court pairing. I think it fits well because Scal can play the perimeter, and I don't know, like guys get out on Scal. I feel like he's not shooting much this year, but I feel like guys think Scal's a good shooter, so they get out on him. They don't completely leave him alone. If they did, I think Scal would start shooting some of these shots, especially if he's the power forward next to Whiteside. He kind of has to space the floor a little bit more than when he's playing center. But I don't know. The rebounding's better. I think the defense is actually really, really solid with Scow and Whiteside together. It's just that size, man. It's just that's by far our biggest lineup. Because it's really our only two guys that are over 6'8". Hezonja's 6'9", but he doesn't play big. So I really like that pairing. I'm glad that Stotts has started to experiment a bit with that, because it seemed early on this season that he was just going to refuse to play Scalabrine at power forward. But now, maybe it's forced his hand, or maybe he's wanted to try that. Either way, I do like Scal playing some minutes with Hassan Whiteside.
And if Nurk comes back and he's still not playing much power forward, then I would get really worried. I kind of understand why he hasn't played much power forward this year, because like tonight, even though he brought him in, I thought it was a good decision. Then who plays center in the second unit, So the rotation is a little funky when they do that, when they don't have any other bigs right now. But that's another reason why I want them to make a move sometime soon, whether it be filling one of those roster spots, just to have another big on this roster to help out with that rotation, so Scal can play more four.
Yeah. And production says Brandon Ingram would be great on the bench, though. Brandon Ingram would start for us and play like 37 minutes a game. And there's no way that New Orleans ends up trading him.
No.
What did I order at Wendy's? I got a 10-piece nugget with a junior bacon cheeseburger with some fries and a drink. Go ahead.
The people talking about the Rockets trading for Covington, they traded it's like 2 first-round picks and then like pick swaps and stuff like that. But it's kind of hard for the Rockets. They could probably make it work with the wording, but they don't have multiple first-round picks or even 1 first-round pick without having the protections be really weird to trade in a trade like that. So our pick would be much more valuable in a trade if we're comparing assets to them. Gordon's older, he doesn't really help them. If they trade Capella for Covington, then they don't have a center. They have like no bigs. So I don't like. I mean, I hope they don't get him for nothing, but I don't really like them as a trade partner for Covington.
Yeah, and there's no way anybody wants Eric Gordon with the contract extension he just signed.
Right.
And I don't think he's tradable for the rest of the season.
Let me look it up.
Because he signed that extension in season, so well-deserved Wendy's. Yeah, I went and got it at halftime, so the drink is just still here. But yeah, I was at Black Rock, watched the first half. This lady was in the bathroom too long, and the staff told her she needed to leave, and she wouldn't. They called the cops, and then she went off on the staff. So that was entertaining. That was something. And this guy stood up and got in her face. It was just all this drama. It was some cop. The cops got called.
Was it over a chicken sandwich?
No, it was over the lady spending too long in the bathroom, and this other lady ran in with her toddler saying she really needed to use the bathroom. It was entertaining. It was a little bit more entertaining than this game. This game was
I was gonna say hashtag the chickening.
The chickening.
You know what that is?
Nope.
It's like the hashtag you use when you post videos of people getting in fights over Popeye's chicken sandwich.
Oh yeah. That's crazy. Why do people get in fights over a chicken sandwich? How does that even happen? Because I've heard of that though, but can't they both get chicken sandwiches? I don't understand. Is it the last chicken sandwich and somebody behind them in line is crazy? I don't.
People just get crazy because there's 20 to 30-minute wait sometimes for them and stuff. So people argue.
I don't want to see the In-N-Out line in Kaiser, because apparently that's 4 hours long. Maybe it's.
I heard the best time is to go at midnight or something. And
how late is it open?
It's up until 1, but they've been staying open later because of the lines.
Yeah.
But if you go at midnight, there's only a 15-minute wait. So.
Yeah, I mean that's a long drive for me. Yeah.
We'll have a video of it. You and I will make a road trip down there.
I owe somebody else a road trip down there because we planned it and then we realized it was 4 hours long. So So,
Nice.
yeah, the In-N-Out challenge is no longer a thing. Have any of you guys ever done the In-N-Out challenge? You literally drive down to In-N-Out in like Northern California when it was the closest one to the Portland area. You get In-N-Out and then you drive back. Like you literally just drive for hours all the way down to California. You get In-N-Out and drive back. Did any of you guys ever do that challenge?
Technically, you could still do it. Just skip the ones that are in order.
Yeah,
that'd be dumb.
That's true. But it's just like, gotta go to the closest one. Now it's 1 hour, 30 minutes, depending on where you live.
So Eric Gordon is not trade eligible this year, not till March. So that's after the trade deadline.
Yeah, trade deadline's in February. So, yeah, he's not an option for them. So, Rockets, I don't know. They could get creative. Morey is known for being creative, but I don't think that they're going to pull off a Covington trade. Some team will give up a first-round pick for him, though.
Mello Stay says, I feel like Mavs are going to steal Covington away from us. The Mavs are another team that doesn't have a first-round pick to trade because of their the trade for Porzingis last year. They still owe the Knicks two over the next few years. So because of the restrictions of those, they cannot trade a first-round pick within the next 7 drafts. So they don't really have.
Yeah, they traded their 2021 first-round pick, which is unprotected. And then their 2023 first-round pick is top 10 protected. If it's in the top 10, it goes over to 2024. If their 2024 first-round pick is in the top 10, then it rolls over to 2025. And then you can't trade the pick after that year, so they can't trade their 2026 first-round pick. And that's the last year that you can trade first-round picks. So they literally cannot trade a first-round pick. They have literally no first-round picks to trade because you can't trade a pick that's protected unless you get like very fancy with like, oh, if this pick is available, then we trade it. But that, I don't know.
I think they'd have to word it to where it would basically turn into second, so it wouldn't be that valuable anyway.
Yeah, I don't expect them to do that. I expect them to go after an Andre Iguodala type with the second-round pick. I think they have a early second-round pick. I think Covington's more valuable than Iguodala, so I think Covington will fetch a first while Iguodala will fetch like an early second. So I think Andre Iguodala is a more realistic target for them.
They have the more favorable of Golden State or Houston, so Golden State, which could be the 31st pick.
Yeah. Yep. So it'll be interesting to see the way this trade market plays out. I'm very excited for this.
The other thing about Dallas is they don't. I mean, what young guys could they include? Jalen Brunson. They don't really have like any good up and coming players other than Doncic.
I feel like I'm blanking on somebody. Justin Jackson isn't really young though, so not him. Even though he's in his third year.
Well,
he's
he's young, but
he's like 24, 25. He's probably gonna.
It's not good.
Yeah, well, he's probably not going to be much better for the rest of his career. He's actually been having a solid season.
Yeah, he's okay. It's just, there's no like
he's 24,
Anthony Simons type, or
he's 24, almost 25. But like the thing is, like he's playing solid. It would make no sense for them to like trade him just because he has no value as a young player, and then like he's having a solid year, so it wouldn't be as much of an upgrade. I think they'd want to hang on to him.
I'm just saying a team like Dallas who has no first-round picks and not really any young guys to attach as assets to trades would make it really hard to trade for Covington.
And that's the thing is there's a lot of teams that are contending in the Western Conference that don't really have an easy way to upgrade their roster around the trade deadline. Utah is another team because their first-round pick that they traded, like they owe their first round pick this year, I think, to Memphis.
Yeah, for the Conley trade.
Yeah, to Memphis for the Conley trade, and it's like protected through 5 years or something, but it's like protected where if it's not good enough, then they keep their pick.
Right.
So that's super strange. So they'll keep their pick this year. So they don't really have a pick. They don't even really have like contracts that make sense to trade for anybody. You look at the Clippers; they traded so many picks for Kawhi and Paul George, and they don't really have a young blue chip prospect left either. So I don't see them making a trade. You look at the Lakers, who traded a ton of picks. I don't see them making a trade unless they include like Kuzma or something, but Kuzma is like 24, 25, so he's not really a young guy like that. So that's 5 teams: Dallas, Houston, the LA teams, Utah. That's 5 of the top 6 teams that don't really have an easy way to upgrade their roster via trade.
Yeah, they'd have to be creative and make little moves that pan out. But yeah, overall, they'd have a tough time trading for like a Blake Griffin or like someone that would really help their roster.
The only team in that top 6 that has the assets to go make a move is Denver. They traded their first-round pick this year. I don't know what the protections are on it. They traded that for Jeremy Grant, but they have a lot of very young assets that would be very intriguing for a team. Even a guy like Malik Beasley is better than what a lot of Western Conference teams have, and then they are able to trade some future picks because they have some future picks that are tradable, and they have some contracts that are expiring. I mean, even a guy like Bol, I think he's on a 2-way contract, so he's not tradable. But even a guy like Michael Porter Jr., you know what I mean? Like that, a team would be willing to take a flyer on him. They're the one team in the Western Conference that I see making an upgrade at the trade deadline that's like in the top 6 right now. Then you got fridge teams like us that can make a move. That's what's encouraging about this season. You know, everybody's talking about, oh, the West got so much better last season. It sucks. The thing is, they've kind of maxed out what they can do because of what they did last summer. You know, they traded so many teams traded assets to get players. Now they don't have any assets left to do anything else. Meanwhile, we're sitting back here. We're loaded. We got all our first-round picks. We got 3 blue-chip prospects. We got expiring contracts. So I think that, you know, the price for getting a guy like Robert Covington might be lower than it would be in other years just because you don't have as many players in the market. If that makes sense. You know, the demand is going to be a little bit lesser on guys like that.
Yeah, for sure. Plus, there could be a lot of those, like if other teams are focused on trying to get like Iguodala and like I heard there's some teams calling for Covington already. Mm-hmm. I hope we're among them, but yeah, there could be a lot of those kind of because the market's flooded with those expiring deals from 2016. So hopefully some other teams waste their assets going after some of those players, like I said, just Iguodala. People's Mix says we should trade Bazemore in a first for Harrison Barnes, which I think would be terrible considering the contract he just signed.
Yeah, no thanks. That he's overpaid. I want to give a quick shout out to Jason Lee for the $2 donation. He said, I thought the Nuggets trade for Jeremy Grant was good. I think it was a good trade too. Thank you for the $2 donation. Below that, where is it? Casey Brewer says, let's get $100 in donations to hear a rap song from me. He said, let's go Rip City. You guys are 2% of the way there. We got a little bit like chiller post-game live stream tonight. Not quite as many people. So maybe that's something you guys will have to coordinate with each other in the future so that you guys are all donating at the same time instead of, because we hit 50, 60. If you
holiday weekend,
if you save that for one stream, I'd be putting together a rap song right now. But I'm not trying to do that. I'm really not trying to do that. But you guys can force my hand, and make me try to spit something on the mic. Anyway. I love how this is all trade talk. You know, we played a good game tonight, and it's just all trade talk immediately. Let's talk about NBA scores. My phone's at 1%. Crap.
I got you.
Nah, I can get this here. If my charger cord would get untangled and come to me. I'm glad I just realized that.
So. Jimbo Lifro asked how protected picks work. So when you trade like a first-round pick, you can have it be protected. So both teams have to agree on it. But like, in most cases, you're not going to want to give up an unprotected first-round pick because if you happen to win the lottery or something and get the first pick, you don't want that to be the pick you traded for Robert Covington or something, that would really hurt your franchise. So what you can do is you say, like, if the pick falls between picks 1 1 in 10, it doesn't convey that year, and then it gets pushed to the next year. And then sometimes it has the same protections for several years. Sometimes it gets lesser protection as it goes on. Sometimes it becomes unprotected after like 3 or 4 years. You can really work it however both teams agree to it. And then there's some trades like the trade that Tori mentioned earlier, the Conley one, where it's actually reverse protected. So Memphis only gets it if it's in the lottery or whatever. If it's like later in the first round, they wouldn't get it. And that way, somewhere down the line, you would think they would get a good pick. Eventually, it'll turn into a pick that could be anywhere. But yeah, protecting picks is just a way to kind of guarantee that you don't give up too much value in a trade, or so you don't get, I don't know, you just want to protect yourself. Like Covington trade, I would definitely make it like top 10 protected, or maybe even lottery protected. That way, if you make the playoffs, the pick that we traded for a Flalo was lottery protected for the first 2 years, and then it turned into 2 seconds. And at the time we traded for a Flalo, the thought was if Aldridge stayed, we'd make the playoffs and it wouldn't be a good pick anyway, so we just give it to Denver. And if Aldridge left, we'd be a lottery team for several years, so it wouldn't convey, and then we'd only owe him a second-round pick. Well, it turns out that next year we made the playoffs, and that was the year we beat the Clippers in the first round. So it got kind of unlucky that we had to convey that pick. But, I mean, stuff like that happens. It was only the 19th pick. It ended up being Malik Beasley. It probably didn't hurt our growth that much not having that pick.
It'd be nice to have Malik Beasley right now, though.
Yeah, but who knows if we would have picked him there and all that stuff. So, and then you got to worry about, like, how that affects future years and players we have on the team now. But because who knows, there might not have even that butterfly effect we talked about earlier. We might not even have made the playoffs or made a deep run last year if things went differently. Maybe, but that's just adding an asset though.
Yeah, my phone died because my phone port sucks.
I think it's funny that people call you out for ranting the same way or complaining about certain things all the time, but then the same people are in chat like only talking about trades all the time.
I can't. Yeah, I mean, like if I engage with chat, I'm gonna end up talking about what chat is talking about.
Yeah,
and a lot of times that's trades or the narrative about Hassan Whiteside being lazy, or you know what I mean. Like they can only control chat so much. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, Travioli, $2 donation.
Here. Oh, shout out Travioli. My phone's dead, so I can't read it off.
I've been trying so hard to hear that rap.
I know, man. You've been trying. I kind of feel bad, but also, that's why I made $100 because that rap. Oh no.
No. Don't you have a wedding coming up?
Oh yeah, Travioli is about to get married. He's about to tie the knot. So congrats to him again. But yeah, it's good to see you, man. Well, I can't really see you in the chat right now because my phone's dead. But it's good to hear that you're tuning in.
Yeah, Jason Lee mentioned the Gerald Wallace for Dame. That was another one where, so Brooklyn's GM, I think his name was Billy Knight, Billy King. Yeah, that's it. He is famously quoted as saying he only thought there was 3 good prospects in the Damian Lillard draft, so he only protected that pick top 3. So when it ended up being number 6, we got it, and we got Dame, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Oh, the league has learned from Billy King because
he's the same one. Yeah.
When he made that trade for Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, he traded like 3 future first-round picks that were completely unprotected. That's why the Celtics got Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown they picked 3rd overall, and then the Jason Tatum draft they actually got the 1st overall pick, and then they traded it down to 3. Philadelphia 76ers traded up from 3-1 to get Markelle Fultz. But yeah, so they got loaded. The Celtics got loaded off of picks from that trade, unprotected picks, and they were getting picks high up in the draft, even though they were in the playoffs. So teams have learned you don't leave your picks unprotected, especially for like older players like that. Where
and not only did they trade the 3 unprotected picks, but the picks in between those years were pick swaps.
I believe there was only one. It was an unprotected pick swap. So I think it was four total drafts that they ended up like losing a high pick, if I recall correctly. One of those Brooklyn picks actually helped them land Kyrie Irving. They traded it was the 2018 Brooklyn pick. They traded it to Cleveland along with Isaiah Thomas and Jay Crowder for Kyrie Irving, and that Brooklyn pick became Colin Sexton. Colin Sexton got drafted with that pick. So that's where it ended up. I mean, you're talking about Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. That's a huge part of the Celtics core that they got simply from moving on from Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett a little bit early. And those guys really only had like 2 good years left in either of them. That was a huge mistake. I mean, they pursued a ring in such a horrible way, Brooklyn did, by trying to get Paul Pierce and Garnett and trading what became the 6th overall pick and Damian Lillard for Gerald Wallace, who had like a good year left and then was basically garbage after that.
Well, he was a free agent. He was an expiring contract too, and then they signed him to like a pretty big contract after that, and he like barely played after that.
Yeah, I mean they were worried about Darren Williams leaving in 2012. That's why they traded for Gerald Wallace, because they wanted to try and convince Darren Williams to stay. So they got desperate, traded that pick for Gerald Wallace. Thank God the Blazers made that trade. Do you have some dishes being tossed around there? It's a bit much. Anyway, I can't read chats. Yeah, I guess Eric with the background noise.
It's my son's playing with Lego blocks. So.
Oh, got you.
Sorry.
I was like, if your wife's doing dishes, that's fine. But yeah, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I just know whatever I can hear, they can hear. So that's the thing. Got my phone back up to 5%. I'm turning it back on.
All right.
But yeah, if I drop that rap, there will be there will be some subtle disses at a certain Portland Trail Blazers media member. So that
are you not going to do that video reacting to it?
I need to. Well, I had problems with the mailbag. I had problems with my mic. I got to edit that tonight, and then I'll probably record that reaction video tonight and get it up tomorrow. Since we don't have a podcast, I'll get that up before the game tomorrow. That's kind of what I'm hoping to do. I had to re-record my mailbag. I had to record it twice because my mic quit like right after the intro, which sucks because I spent 25 minutes recording it, thinking, okay, I can go edit it. It was actually probably my best mailbag recording ever. Like, I had a really good recording, man. I really liked that recording, and then it had no audio, so I was super frustrated with that. And then the second recording, just because I had already done it once, I didn't feel like it was anywhere near as good. But hopefully you guys enjoy that. It's been a while. I've literally only made one video, like video, since November 27th. So I gotta get back on that grind. And Eric will help me with that because he's about to do trade talk. We've been sorting out his editing software. I've been teaching him the editing software I use so he can make trade talk videos.
That's what I was doing before you came on.
Yeah. How's it going, bro?
Oh, it's fine. Just trying to grind through it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a grind. Especially his original recording was an hour long. I was like, dang, man. So we'll see how long the actual video is. I'm curious to see how much.
Travioli, $3 donation. My boys, yes, sir. January 25th. Thanks for the shout out.
Yep, we'll
oh, man, that's coming up fast. A little over a month.
Feelings on proposed changes to the NBA season. We talked about in that podcast earlier today, at the end of that podcast. So if you want our thoughts on that, then you can go watch that. At Tori, can you make the game tomorrow night? I'll send you an email back. I wanted to take somebody who's working tomorrow night, so probably not. That's why I was thinking Monday. But yeah, just I'll email you back. I'm still so that mellow merchandise. I'm just waiting on a final design from Jake, but he hasn't really responded to me the past 5-6 days, so I don't know what's up with that. I guess I gotta go do it myself, but I really like the final concept I came up with for mellow merchandise, the keep Portland mellow hoodie that I was gonna put out. I gotta hear back from him. I just hope he replies, letting me know if he's like too busy to sketch that up or what. As far as like anything else update wise, I can't think of anything else. Anyway, let's talk about NBA scores.
17 snowstorm says, yo, I predict another snowstorm. It's a good thing this, or depending on your point of view, I guess it would have been kind of cool if this monster amount of rain we had was all snow. That would have been, we'd all be snowed in right now.
I know. That'd be fun, man. I'm down. Except I don't want a ton of snow because there's a lot of trees around where I'm at. Last year, I think a branch, or no, not last year, it was a couple years ago. A branch fell through the ceiling because there was too much snow on it, I believe. It made a branch fall off a tree and it like crashed through the ceiling. Thank God nobody was in that room, but yeah, it tore up this place. Let me try and get my phone charging before I talk about NBA scores. Did you guys see John Morant almost end Kevin Love's career? Did you see that, Eric?
Yeah, I wish he would have finished it. But...
Dude, that was like Vince Carter-esque almost. Like, he didn't clear him like Vince Carter did it against that dude in the Olympics. But, my goodness. Kevin Love was saying, thank God he missed that. That's crazy. You guys got to go see that dunk. Obviously, I can't play it because copyright reasons. But, yeah, my goodness. John Morant's so much fun to watch. So, Trailblazers beat the Magic 118-103. Pacers beat the Kings 119-105. The Kings fall out of that 8th spot. We move in. Kings fell to 12-16. If you guys see like the light changing, that's my phone disconnecting and reconnecting to the charger. It's a tough first world problem to deal with. Jeez, man, I hate this thing. Anyway, box score, Pacers were led by T.J. Warren, who had 23. They had 7 guys in double figures, so all-around effort by them. The Kings were led by Rashawn Holmes, who had 20 and 9 on 9 for 10 shooting in 24 minutes. Rashawn Holmes has become maybe the most underrated center in the entire NBA. He's been phenomenal. Marvin Bagley is back. He had 17 off the bench. Justin James has been playing solid. He was a surprise guy that got drafted last year. He wasn't really on anybody's draft radar, but the Kings picked him, and he had 14 tonight on 5 for 11 shooting. We got the Cavs beating the Grizzlies. I don't think we ended up picking that game, but Jaren Jackson Jr. had 24. John Morant had 8, 11, and 5. Let's see how Kevin Love did tonight. He had 21 points, 13 rebounds on 6 for 13 from the field, 5 for 11 from 3. 11 of his 13 shots were from the three-point line. Jordan Clarkson had 33 off the bench. Raptors beat the Wizards 122-118. Bradley Beal had 37 for the Wizards in a losing effort. Ish Smith had 26 points off the bench, shooting 9 for 9 and 4 for 4 from the three-point line. Kyle Lowry had 26. Serge Ibaka had 23. So Raptors still taking care of business, even though they have some key guys that are out of the lineup. Celtics blew out the Pistons. The Pistons fall to 11-18. That's notable because Derrick Rose or Blake Griffin could be good trade targets. Derrick Rose is a guy that I'm pretty interested in. If Anthony keeps struggling, maybe a trade like Kent Bazemore for Derrick Rose and Tony Snell, and they can move off Snell's contract. I know we moved past the trade talk, but that's an intriguing trade just to clear Detroit some salary.
I like it.
and get us a backup guard. That's been playing phenomenal. Portland would love Derrick Rose
He
too.
would fix our scoring issue off the bench.
So I mean, hopefully Simons figures it out and is playing a lot better later on this season. That's what I'm hoping for, but we'll see. For the Celtics, they had Jason Tatum with 26. Jaylen Brown had 26. Those two guys that were gifted to them by the Brooklyn Nets I'm talking about. Grant Williams finally did something good. He had 18 points on 8 for 10 shooting in 30 minutes. Taco Fall had 5 points in 5 minutes.
Did you see what happened with Taco Fall?
I saw like some headline, but I didn't see it. What was happening?
So the crowd was chanting like "We want taco" or whatever, and so Brad Stevens was like telling him to like be louder, like he was just like trolling him kind of.
I like Brad Stevens, man.
And so he just waited till they got like super loud until he put him in.
That's funny. That's so funny. Taco Fall's a fun guy to watch.
Yeah,
Enes Kanter had 18 rebounds in 22 minutes to go along with 8 points. Let's see. Mavericks beat the 76ers 117-98. I picked the Mavericks, right?
You did.
That sucks, man. They're playing great without Luka Doncic.
Philadelphia got booed out of their arena.
Good. Dallas playing without Luka Doncic is still killing it. They beat the Sixers and the Bucks without Luka Doncic. So maybe he's not the MVP because they're playing at the same level. Yeah, I hate that Dallas is 19-9. That's a team I wouldn't mind going up against the first round. I think that could be a first-round series that we could possibly be favored in, depending on what moves we make. That would just be a team with very little playoff experience, while we would have some playoff experience. Porzingis had 22 for Dallas. Tim Hardaway had 27. Philadelphia is just struggling.
I saw people killing Ben Simmons on Twitter about just being passive, and
he's so overrated, man. Yeah.
12. I guess he's become like unplayable in the fourth quarters because he's just not good enough.
I mean, 12 points in 36 minutes for a guy who's an all-star. Some people might consider him a superstar. I don't know anybody who does, but I mean, I don't know. He has a lot of attention around him, but 12 points, 4 for 10 shooting, like, dude's overrated. Joel Embiid had a good game too. He had 33 and 17, 50% shooting, but didn't have much help. Tobias Harris, 3 for 11. Al Horford, 4 for 9. They just, I don't know. They don't have enough scoring. They do not have enough scoring there in Philadelphia. That's a team to watch in terms of possibly making a move. But I don't know. That's just a weird team in a weird situation. The Heat beat the Knicks 129-114. Heat had 70 in the first half. Marcus Morris Sr., possible future Blazer, had 15.
Boo.
Bobby Portis, another possible future Blazer, had 30 off the bench in 25 minutes. I'm not a fan of him, but that's another guy that could possibly provide some front court help. Mitchell Robinson, 18 off the bench for the Knicks. Meanwhile, for the Heat, you had 20 from Bam Adebayo. Myers Leonard in 22 minutes had 7 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists. There was 7 guys in double figures for the Heat. Jimmy Butler shot 3 shots in 28 minutes. Had 9 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. He's been super passive this year. Turned into a guy who's getting like 7-8 assists per game. It's been interesting to see how his game has evolved. You like massaging the mic there? Eric's massaging the mic.
My son went to the bathroom and I couldn't mute it in time, so I was trying to block it.
Oh, got you. Anyway, OKC 126-108 over the Suns. The Suns are in freefall mode. I told you guys the Suns were overrated. I told you they were overrated. They're 11-17. Those Suns fans really thought that they were like a legitimate playoff team and could contend for home court advantage and all this stuff. Like, Suns fans are weird, man. At least the ones that I saw on Twitter. That team ended up losing to OKC by almost 20, even though they had Ayton and Booker back. So that's the team we should take care of. That's the last game of the year for us before we go into 2020, and that game's at home. So that's another one of these upcoming games that we should win. Timberwolves lost 109-100 to the Nuggets. Surprised they stayed in this game because they didn't have Karl Anthony Towns. But the Nuggets were led by Jokic and Murray, 22 and 28 apiece. Jokic had a triple-double with 22, 10, and 10. We had a lot of games. Last game is Warriors beat the Pelicans 106-102. I don't know why I'm checking the box score for this game because all these players suck. But the Pelicans in the loss were led by Drew Holiday, 25 points. Another possible future Blazer? No, not really, because they're not going to trade CJ for him. So I want to stop seeing these. Yeah, CJ for Drew Holiday trade possibility? No, it's not going to happen. It's not a possibility. Brandon Ingram had 25 as well. For the Warriors, D'Angelo Russell is like a one-man wrecking crew for them. They won this game off of 25 from Russell. Damian Lee had 20. Alec Burks had 18. Another possible future Blazer. Anyway, that was the scores from the NBA tonight. Tuning back into chat. What's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? How you guys doing, chat?
So, you know that Aaron Gordon post I put on Twitter?
What'd you say?
Did you see the Aaron Gordon one from earlier that I put?
I mean, I might have.
Yeah, hold on just a second.
I'm on Twitter all game long, so it kind of blurs together.
Yeah, someone responded to me. Hold on.
All right, let's go. Okay, so Twitter segment for tonight. I had a Hornets fan try and tell me Cody Zeller was better than Hassan Whiteside. I provided so many different stats, and he literally ignored them all and started arguing that Cody Zeller is better because he has more deflections, and he plays 4 less minutes per game. And that I'm biased and I'm stupid or something. And he writes for like Nylon Calculus or something. It's like, what the hell, man? That was ridiculous. You guys can follow me on Twitter at ToryJonesYT so you can see some more of these interactions because I post a trade idea almost every day, and almost every trade idea has a fan from one of the teams involved who wildly overrates their players. Apparently, I think he even said like Bismack Biyombo was better than Whiteside or something. I don't really remember. It was all kind of dumb. But yeah, I wanna hear what was said to you, Eric. Unless I can find it before you, I'll race you.
I can't read it while I'm responding. Hold on.
Okay, I'll find it. Oh, was it the one that you... Oh, I have to question the basketball credibility of anyone who wants to trade for Aaron Gordon. People way overrate players who are good dunkers. It was that one?
Yeah.
The response on that wasn't bad.
Yeah, I don't like those. Well, first of all, average to above average 3-point shooting. He shot a career high 34.9% last year, and his career average is 31.9. Yeah. If that's average to above average,
that's definitely below average to bad.
Yeah, I feel like because it was like 2 years ago, I think, when that year that the Magic got off to a really good start, and he was shooting like 40% from 3 for the first few games, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is the Aaron Gordon we've been waiting for." And then he shot like 30% the rest of the year, and it fell to like 32 for the season. Yeah. By the time it was over.
He also said he was a guy who could defend. Aaron Gordon is not a good defender. I don't know why people think he's a good defender. Maybe it's because he looks like he's strong and he's athletic, but he's not a good defender. He's never been a good defender. He can handle the ball a little bit, but it's just not a good player. Not a good player, man. Never been on board the Aaron Gordon train. What's up, Max Kelly? Terrence Jones wouldn't be a bad option off the bench for the Blazers. I mean, Terrence Jones from early in his career, he was solid, but that dude just fell off. I don't know why he fell off because the dude wasn't old, but
yeah, we talked about that earlier.
Terrence Jones? When did we talk about that?
He meant Terrence Ross, not Terrence Jones.
Okay. Oops, Ross. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That contract's too much for me, man. If that was a 2-year contract, then maybe just given how short we are at small forward, we could use a guy who can put up points on a good night. He hasn't been efficient this year, but like maybe he could provide a spark here and there. But that dude's contract, I don't want to pay that dude $50 million over the next 4 years. Yeah, that's rough. I'd rather go out and get like a Glenn Robinson who killed us, hit 5 threes against us in that Warriors game, or a guy like Alec Burks. The Warriors definitely a team to look to for a possible wing replacement there.
Now, please.
What's up?
I said now, please.
Oh yeah, for real. We need to do it. We need to do something now because this bench is struggling too much. Like, we're at the point where we need Anthony to step up his game, and relying on a guy that young, that inexperienced to step up his game in order to carry our bench isn't what you want as a team trying to contend or trying to set yourselves up for a playoff run. So we got to go out and we got to upgrade probably that wing spot so we don't have to play Hazonia anymore. Maybe a guy like Glenn Robinson could maybe play some small ball 4 over Anthony Tolliver. I don't feel like he plays any smaller than Anthony Tolliver does because Anthony Tolliver doesn't get off the ground, doesn't really rebound, doesn't provide any rim protection. So, I mean, just a wing like that is what we need right now. And there are definitely some that are available. I hope that Olshey goes out and gets something done, especially since like Alec Burks, Glenn Robinson, they're on minimum contracts, so it's no like long-term guarantee. And then we can bring Hood back into the fold when he's healthy next year. I think that's the way to go.
Yep. Sure.
Trade for Russell Westbrook. Oh, man. He and Dame would clash. Russell Westbrook would be Blazer fans would hate Russell Westbrook, I think. I feel like our fan base is smart, and they've seen what his shot chucking can do to a team in a negative way. That OKC series last year, man. I got so excited when Westbrook would shoot. Yeah, no. The Houston definitely isn't moving him. It'll be interesting to see how that works itself out in the playoffs, because right now it's okay, but in the playoffs I feel like that pairing could completely just blow up on itself. Harden struggled in the playoffs just because he doesn't get the foul calls he normally does. He's played more physical, flops a lot, still does his normal flopping routine, and doesn't get the calls. And then Russell first round. I literally I literally see Russell Westbrook now, and I think of Russell first round exit Westbrook. I literally almost said that dude's YouTube name, but Russ just sucks in the playoffs, man. So those two, it'll be interesting to see if they just completely collapse on themselves. That's another team I wouldn't mind playing at all.
Yeah, and I said that before the season started that I thought they'd be a good regular season team, but be a team you want to play in the playoffs.
Yep. Destrom asked Tori. What would you ask me? What you got for me, Destrom? I take Mario over Westbrook any day.
Yeah, I would too.
Max Kelly, it seems like it's always been some issue on the wing for Portland. Yeah, I mean, like, we fixed that with Rodney, and I don't think it'd be much of a problem with Rodney if Rodney and if Kent made his flashes that he's shown lately, if he had those happen more consistently, then I think our wing position would be fine. It's just losing Rodney is just such a blow, dude. I'm still frustrated we ended up playing him when he had a sore Achilles.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know everything that went into that, so maybe it was maybe I wasn't informed enough to go on the rant that I did after that game, but I mean, it's reported he has a sore Achilles, then he ends up playing, and then he tears his Achilles. It's just like somebody made a mistake there. I'm hoping he can return back to form. I think he'll have a good recovery, as good of a recovery as any NBA player, because one, the medical field is advanced, more so than it was 20 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever. But two, just the way he plays, I think, bodes well for how he recovers. He's pretty light on his feet. He doesn't rely on explosiveness. He just has to keep that shot dialed in. It would have been what sucked about it too is he was so efficient that I wanted to see how efficient he would be for this entire season. Like, you didn't expect him to keep up the efficiency he was shooting at, but I wanted to see like him play a whole season with the start that he had, just to see where his efficiency would fall. And we got robbed of that, so that sucks, man.
Well, the only silver lining of that is now we likely get to keep him for $6 million instead of having to pay him a lot more money, and he'd probably be priced out of the $10 million range even that we could offer him if he continued that efficiency all season.
I mean, why's my camera unfocused? What in the world? It wasn't on a ton of shots, so I don't think he would have been necessarily like priced out. And I also think he would have taken a little bit of a pay cut because he did that last summer. I guess that's a silver lining, but it also makes me feel even worse for him because the man took a pay cut to come back here and then ends up getting hurt when he's killing it. He was literally playing like a $12 million player for less than $6 million, and then he gets hurt and we'll probably have to accept a player option for $6 million. It's just, I feel bad for him. Any guy that takes a pay cut to stay in Portland, they have a place in our hearts, you know what I mean? Just because
exactly.
Guys don't usually want to play here. So the fact that he was willing to take less money to stay here, that's what makes it so tough.
If because of that trade we make a deal for Covington, which we might not have had we had Hood healthy, and then we run it back next year, that would be the first year in a long time that we wouldn't have a wing issue.
Hood off the bench. That's why I want to trade for a long-term small forward, an Otto Porter Jr. or Robert Covington, because it would take the pressure off Rodney returning next year.
Yeah.
If he can come off the bench and kind of slowly work his way back into things, I think he'll be ready at the start of the season, but it will take some time for him to kind of get back to who he was. If he's starting, then that's more pressure on him, then maybe that messes with his mentality. And he's been a guy who in the past has had issues and struggles with confidence. So if he's brought off the bench, I feel like that would be beneficial for him and definitely beneficial for the team. We'll need bench scoring. So we got to go out and get a small forward. I want to go out and try and trade for like an Otto Porter type, probably give up Kent Bazemore in the process, and then try and get a minimum level guy like a Glenn Robinson or an Alec Burks to have, Glenn Robinson or Alec Burks off the bench behind a Robert Covington or Otto Porter Jr. type. I think that's the type of moves we need to make. So it'll be interesting to see, man. I'm really looking forward to this trade season. It's going to be entertaining. The most entertaining trade season as a Blazer fan, I think, I'll have ever had, just because of the position we're in, just because of the assets we have, the expiring contracts we have, and the fact that I'm covering this now. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of because we could trade Bazemore or Whiteside for wings and then use the exception to get a center too, like a Hernan Gomez or something.
Yeah. But we could use Jake Layman's traded player exception for Hernan Gomez.
Yeah, that's true.
It's hard to find guys that fit in that disabled player exception that don't fit in the Layman traded player exception.
Right.
And who knows if we had a traded player exception for Caleb Swanigan. I don't know if we ever figured that out, did we? Because we had a traded player exception for Noah Vonleh that we could have used to absorb Scalabissiere, and then that would have allowed us to create a traded player exception for Swanigan when we traded him to Sacramento.
The last time I think I looked on ESPN Trade Machine, it showed us having one. Yeah, so ESPN shows us having both the Layman and Caleb Swanigan, which are right around $1.7 million.
Mm-hmm. So, not much more than a minimum. We can bring in a minimum contract anyway without sending anything out, but it's just I wish the disabled player exception was a little bit more. Would open up more possibilities. You look at a Markieff Morris for Detroit who's making $3.2 million. That would be a great target with that disabled player exception. There's just not many guys that really fit into that we couldn't otherwise get.
The reason it's good is because it gives us a 16th roster spot.
That too.
Because without it, we wouldn't be able to use our trade exception to bring someone in other than one person, or if we did a 2-for-1 or a 1-for-2 trade with Bazemore or Whiteside, then we wouldn't be able to bring anyone else in. So, good night, buddy.
You lost your train of thought.
So yeah, having that extra roster spot is the main reason that's good.
Yeah, I was forgetting about that. You're right. You're right on that.
But yeah, so I was trying to think of a trade going off your Snell and Derrick Rose trade earlier, and then the problem is you need Whiteside for this. But I was thinking like a Marvin Williams and Hernan Gomez for Bazemore too, but like you'd have to throw in you'd have to do Whiteside and do like I don't know who you throw in MKG or something to make the salaries work, which would not
maybe you do Marvin Williams and Biyombo, and don't even worry about Hernan Gomez.
Yeah, and then but then you have Rose, Snell, and I guess Snell would probably have to start, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you trade Bazemore, like Snell would basically take Bazemore's role. I don't think Snell would be really any worse than Bazemore has been, so that's just kind of a lateral move there. But it helps us add a really good backup guard, which our bench needs right now with Anthony struggling.
I was trying to just think of some moves where we could get like Rose and Marvin Williams off our bench instead of Tolliver in. You know, just a little bit of an upgrade there, but.
I mean, there's so many targets that make sense for us, especially like we need depth. Like we could use a backup guard, if we could use a backup wing, 2, 3, 4, you know. And the thing is, we could end up trading Whiteside for a backup wing, and in that case, then we probably need a center. We just need so many positions. Like there could be so many like revolving pieces.
Going back to the Covington deal, you could trade Whiteside. I kind of went over this in my trade video. I'm kind of messing it up, but you trade Whiteside for a first for Covington and Jang, and then you make the trade for Glenn Robinson.
I'd want I'd want seconds back from Minnesota, like at least one. I'd want Minnesota seconds to go to Golden State for Glenn Robinson if we're going to trade him for a first-round pick and take on Jang's contract.
Yeah, maybe. I just don't know. I mean, it kind of depends on what other offers they're getting, because if they're getting
for sure
similar offers to that, but
as I outlined, but like how many of those teams are going to take on Jang? You know what I mean? Like they'd basically be trading a second-round pick or maybe 2 to get rid of Jang, which is great value on that. So the thing is, you could trade basically Whiteside for Covington, Jang, and Glenn Robinson, or you'd trade Whiteside in a first for Covington, Jang, and Glenn Robinson if Minnesota traded seconds, and then to Golden State, which I think would be a great move.
And then you trade like Bazemore for Biyombo or something, and then so you have Biyombo and Jang. I mean, not great, but it would get you through till Nurk and Collins are back, and then you have Covington.
We wouldn't need Biyombo though. We'd still have Scal.
But then you could play Scal at the 4 and not have to worry about him being the backup center.
I'd rather try and trade like Bazemore and Gary Trent Jr. and maybe a filler salary for Otto Porter Jr. Because then that's your 4, and then you keep Scal at the 5, and then that's your 4, and then
we already have Melo.
Yeah, but I mean, if our team gets good enough where Melo doesn't play, then Melo doesn't play. You know what I mean? Like we shouldn't be refusing to trade for a guy like Otto Porter Jr. because we have Melo. I doubt Melo comes back.
Well, we don't know if Otto Porter is going to play. He's out at least in a month or something, right?
Yeah. Well, then we have Melo in case he doesn't play. So that's the thing. Like we're fine. I think that's the most realistic like dream trade deadline moves that are out there is getting Jang with Covington, getting one of Alec Burks and Glenn Robinson, and getting Otto Porter Jr. I think that would be, like salary wise, that might be tough with the tax. Jody might not want to do that, but that would be a good series of moves, and that would shore up some of our weaknesses. And I just want Covington and Otto Porter Jr. starting together because I think that would be better than Harkless and Amina were. And shooting wise, it would be miles ahead. And I think 3-and-D guys like that is what we need. That's why I'm not a huge fan of a Kevin Love, because Kevin Love's always injured. He doesn't provide that defense. He's not a better shooter than Covington or Otto Porter Jr. Both of those guys are better shooters than him too. So that's why I'm not really on board with that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
shout out to Trevin. What's up, man? I saw you post on Twitter that you're scheduled lined up to listen to some post-game shows this week.
Yeah. I haven't seen him this whole stream. Yeah, I was wondering because I saw him tweet that too, but I haven't seen him in here. So welcome to the stream, bro. Been kind of quiet on the stream tonight, numbers wise. I don't know if people were busy because it's the holidays. It's the weekend. People were out, partying while I'm sitting in my room streaming. But I'm cool with this. My girl's at work anyway, so I'm gonna load up my phone, get back into the chat. I really gotta get a new phone and get a new. This charging port is driving me insane, dude. Having to prop it up in a very specific way in order to get this thing to charge is so frustrating. Like, I'll be falling asleep, I'll prop it up in a certain way. I'll be falling asleep, then I'll kind of panic, oh, what if it came unplugged? So I'll sit up, check it. Okay, it's still charging. Lay back down. Be a little bit more awake, and then repeat that cycle. It's rough. It's rough. Anyway.
Yeah, you need a new phone, new computer, new everything.
I mean, I'd rather have a new computer than anything, just so I could do so much more with this stream, man. Because once I get a new computer, I want to get this adapter so that I can use my DSLR camera as the camera for videos and streams. The thing is, if I got it from my laptop, it would be too intensive on the CPU in order to use a DSLR camera as the camera for live streaming and doing stuff like this. So I need a good desktop computer. I hope to get one the next month or two. Any idea on when Nurk and Collins are coming back? I think Nurk's coming back end of January, early February, and I think Collins is coming back sometime in mid to late March. But yeah, that's the thing. Once I get a desktop computer, I can do a lot more with this stream. I can get multiple monitors. I can I won't have to keep my broadcasting software open in order to get it to run smoothly. That's the goal. That's the goal, man. Because I can make the quality so insanely good. Also, lighting stuff is something that I'll focus on too. I'm trying to make this legit. Over the next couple of months, if you guys want to support me, you guys can leave a donation on Patreon. There's a link in the description. $10 a month or more will get you the opportunity to guest appear on one of our live streams, whether that be a podcast or a post-game show. I just sent out messages to those people who are donating $10 a month or more to us on Patreon. So if that's one of you, if that's you that's donating $10 a month or more to us on Patreon, thank you, and check your messages because I just sent those out last night. I sent those out, starting talks to bring on some of my Patreon donors onto the stream. But yeah, so $25 a month or more will get you on a mailbag too, or something like that. We'll get you on a video alongside of a live stream. So I'm starting that process up because we had 3 people in the past week or two donate $10 a month or more. So that was awesome. And this money is going to go back into this channel, whether it's me affording a desktop computer or something like that. So you guys are helping this channel upgrade, basically. Release Anthony Tolliver. That makes no sense. I don't know why we do that. There's nothing to gain from that. Yeah, there was some confusion with Nurkic saying he wasn't going to play this year. That meant this year as in 2019, not this entire season. because the season goes into 2020. Like it.
Yeah,
People
even
got
had like
confused
the
with
little
that.
winky face, like not this year, like
Yeah.
2019.
Yeah, I was surprised people got confused with that, but
Good night, First P.
yep. First P, somebody replied to one of my messages. I didn't really check who it was. It might have been him, but thanks for the Patreon donation again, because he hooked it up. So I'll catch you later, man. Watch Mario tack 30 tomorrow. If he tacks 30 tomorrow, what do you guys want me to do on stream? I'll do something crazy on stream if Mario drops 30 points tomorrow. Carmelo should play, so it's not going to happen. But if I mean, Andre Miller dropped 52, but I still feel like I'd be more shocked at Mario Hezonja dropping 30 tomorrow than I was when Andre Miller dropped 52 points. So what do you guys want me to do if Mario drops 30?
Yeah, you should
I'll lower it to 15, to be honest.
a praising Mario rap.
Oh my goodness, bro! No, I'm not dropping a rap song unless I get $100 in donations or more on the stream, man.
You have to drop
that's the
you have to drop that to 50 for the post game if he scores 30.
No, I'll do something else. Cause I ain't trying to rap because I'll embarrass myself. Caleb Pendergraph rap. Where's the $100 donation? I think we got 7, so $93 to go.
What's up, Chiefin? I think he was saying that for if Mario scored 30.
Oh, nah, something else. That's $100. I'm not branching out. I'll do 15 points. If Mario scores 15 or more tomorrow, he's not gonna do it. So I don't even know why we're discussing it actually. But shout out Jason Lee for the $2 donation with a mic emoji. All right, $91 away. Appreciate the $2 dono, bro. We need a Steph Curry type beat. I don't know what that means. The stuff with Steph Curry, man. I'm not gonna get this video demonetized, so like let's be careful with how we talk about this. But
The People's Mix always has to be careful with the way he talks about stuff.
I mean, he can post whatever he wants. Just we on the video, if we say something that YouTube picks up on, demonetized. Which it's like different, like $2-3. But Steph Curry. If you guys haven't heard about what happened with that, check Twitter. Do you know what I'm talking about, Eric? Oh, we were talking about it in Discord, weren't we? Because I think that's where I found out about it.
Sure.
Sure.
I don't want to say anything wrong here.
No, either you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't have to say it. Like, either you know what I'm talking about or you don't know what you're talking about. If you said I know what you're talking about, I know you know what I'm talking about. But yes, that is that. Good job making it PG though, or G or whatever that's rated. I don't know. Hell, that word might be demonetized. I'm watching videos on words that get videos demonetized, and some words it makes no sense. YouTube's kind of a mess. Honestly, guys, if you guys started doing content, you'd learn about some of the things. Like, I forgot to put this disclaimer on. I need to put this on. For people guesting on Patreon, you have to be 18 or older, because with COPPA, COPPA is this law that pertains to marketing videos towards kids specifically, so specifically people under 18. And I think it also has something to do with like involving people under 18 in videos, and it can cause problems. It can cause fines, like thousands of dollars in fines. If I don't know, it's like very, very vague, and the way YouTube is monitoring this is very, very vague as well. So to be on the safe side, I'm not going to have anybody under the age of 18 on the channel. I wish, I think we got like Courtside Reports knows his stuff. He's 17, but he knows his stuff. He does YouTube, so that's a guy that I would have liked having on the channel, but he's not 18. Because we did plan on doing a video series, like a news video series for you guys, but ever since this COPPA stuff has started to become a thing, and since YouTube has changed some things, I'm not comfortable with doing that, with risking that, just because it's too vague for me to really tell what could and couldn't get me in trouble, and YouTube kind of has the discretion to do whatever the hell they want. So I just can't risk that.
For sure.
I wonder what Tori think on what, bro.
I think he's the one who asked. Monster Killer 3 is asking about if we should even trade Whiteside.
Yes. No matter how well he plays, yes, because he's going to expire and then he's not going to come back because he's not going to want to come off the bench. It makes no sense to even really pay him a lot to come back to be Nurkic's backup. So trade him. He's an expiring contract. That contract has value on the trade market because it's expiring. He'll be trade bait. Nurkic will come back around the trade deadline. That's perfect timing. You use Whiteside as a rental, help rebuild his value. Maybe you can get something out of it. Maybe Whiteside has value beyond just being an expiring contract. Maybe there's a team that wants him as a player that you're able to orchestrate something around, maybe a 3-team trade. But that would be perfect. You get Whiteside to be a stopgap until Nurkic comes back. You help Whiteside rebuild his value. That value helps you on the trade market. That expiring helps you land something. And that's like the perfect setup. That's what we were talking about when we made this move. Like, that's what we were expecting. And that's what I'm still expecting. I still think he ends up getting traded. This is just kind of like a temporary partnership. I do like Whiteside. I enjoy his game. He's very underrated, especially by Blazer fans, especially by Heat fans who hate him for whatever reason. He's been a good guy to have as a Nurkic replacement right now.
And two, the risk of him leaving in free agency and getting nothing for him versus having a guy like Covington next year is, I think, the opportunity cost of bringing in a guy that can help us next year versus maybe having Whiteside for cheaper, but probably not. It's not worth the risk of, because we can't for sure know that until free agency starts anyway. So, you can get some clues from his agent. You can kind of talk beforehand, but you can't really sign him or guarantee that he'll re-sign with us. And even if you did that, I don't know how to put this delicately, but Whiteside seems kind of like an Aldridge type where he could get a little moody or sensitive if something happened. So you'd have to kind of walk on eggshells too for the rest of the season, like how you implement Nurk back into the system without making him upset and all that.
Yeah.
So if we had a situation like Aldridge's last year here where the team kind of falls apart and gets disjointed at the end, and then it's obvious he's not going to resign here, then we lost him for nothing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It makes all the sense in the world to end up trading him. Caleb Pendergraph says, 3-team trade that sends Whiteside to the Celtics. They could use some better centers. Whiteside makes sense for the Celtics, but the Celtics don't really have the contracts that they'd actually want to trade in order to land Hassan Whiteside. If they had a $27 million expiring contract for a player they didn't want, then that would be the number one target for Hassan Whiteside. But in terms of matching salary, they'd either have to trade a Gordon Hayward or a Kemba Walker or a Marcus Smart, and they're not going to trade any of those guys for Hassan Whiteside. Hassan Whiteside makes $27 million, so they got to trade. They got to trade one of those three to begin with. Marcus Smart, they'd have to include multiple players alongside him just to reach the level to match Hassan Whiteside's contract. So they're basically out of the running for that, unless Marcus Smart gets hurt and maybe then they move him. I don't know. That's just not a realistic scenario, sadly. Even though Whiteside would make sense for them, and they do have picks to trade.
I have a pretty good source with this, and he said there's no chance Celtics are trading Gordon Hayward, and that means they're out of the running for pretty much all the big contracts like Love or Griffin or
I heard they're liking what Robert Williams is doing for them too, and I feel like they view him as their center going forward, and he's kind of like a poor man's Whiteside in a way. And he's young and cheap, so I don't think they'll end up making a trade this year, to be honest. I think they'll just kind of sit back.
I think you got to look at they could make a trade for a lower end big. like a Hernan Gomez type, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah,
But
I feel like Hernan Gomez doesn't have enough value for other teams. I feel like we're higher on him than other teams would be.
yeah,
Hernan Gomez is still a guy. Like, if we could get Hernan Gomez for free, like they're not really playing him, I'd go do that right now, and then play Scow with the 4 more, because Hernan Gomez has shown that he's shown flashes throughout his career, but he's just not being used there in Charlotte. So anyway, we got a live stream tomorrow, post game live stream. You know, we talked a ton of trades today. Hopefully tomorrow, you know, we can kind of chill on the trade talks. So thank you guys for tuning in for this post game live stream. Blazers got a good win tonight. That was an important game to take care of. Orlando's been struggling, so we got to take care of these games. Hopefully go 4-0 on this homestand. Get to 15-16. Being around 500 at the end of this year would be a bit of an accomplishment compared to where we started. I mean, we were 5-12, so now we've won 8. We've gone 8-4 in our last 12 games. So that's pretty good considering we're losing to teams like the Cavaliers, the Pelicans, the Warriors. We've kind of started to turn things around a little bit. So hopefully we can continue that tomorrow against the Timberwolves. We'll be live right after that game around 9:30 or so. And then Monday, we'll have podcasts and we'll have the post game after the Pelicans game. I might be going to that game, so that might be Eric running his first post-game show, so there might be hiccups. I'll try and prepare him for that. But if I go to the game, Eric, you're not going to the game Monday, are you?
Probably not.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is, like, if I'm going to a game, I'm going to have Eric fire up the stream right after a game. I'll make, like, the thumbnail for him. I'll show him how to do it. Eric can fire it up. It will just be Eric's face cam instead of mine. And then, like, I'll call in once I get home, or maybe not even call in at all. And Eric can run the post game show, just so you guys have something after that game that's live right after that game. And that way we can keep consistent with getting these post game shows to you guys. So I'll keep you posted on that. I'll probably tweet something out about it. And then also I'll edit this mailbag tonight, and I'll have a reaction to Chad Doing's podcast about our Twitter debate that he did, his like little 25-minute podcast segment, and that's what I got planned.
As soon as I can figure out how to finish editing this video.
Yep, Eric will have a Trade Talk video sometime in the next year. I mean,
no, it'll definitely be by the end of this weekend.
Yep, looking forward to it, man. So that's the plan for the channel in the upcoming days. So thank you to everybody who tuned in for this post-game show. I'll catch you guys later. This is it for me and Eric Brandt. Peace out. Go Blazers.